ごめんね素直じゃなくて夢の中なら言える思考回路はショート寸前今すぐ会いたいよ泣きたくなるよなムーンライト電話もできないみんなだって純情のしようハートは万華鏡月の光に導かれ何度も巡り合う星座の瞬き数え占う恋の行方同じ国に生まれたのミラクルロマンス信じているのミラクルロマンス
Hey guys, it's Katie, and welcome to Moonie Thoughts. This is my lovely co-host, hellenjane,
Hello.
and this week we don't have any major announcements, so we are going to hop right into episode discussion for episodes 22 and 23. As you probably remember, episode 22, the history of Wise Man was revealed, and Sailor Moon was able to free herself and the captured Senshi from Nemesis.
And each episode gets better and better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we get to see Death Phantom's past for the first time, as well as Death Phantom himself. I don't know who's creepier, him or the creepy prince.
Physically, they basically used the exact illustration from the manga for his pre-Wise Man physical picture. With that long, crazy hair and the kind of gaunt eyes.
And he got to keep his classic anime colours. Which I thought, hey, that's a really, really nice touch.
Yeah.
It suits him so well. But either way, he's still creepy.
Considering that, the manga was in black and white, and I don't know if any color illustrations were ever really done of Wise Man, so they might as well have kept the anime colors, because I don't know if there were manga colors for him. There might have been in, the materials book or something. I don't know, I'll have to check.
But on the other hand, about Tuxedo coming, oh man, he's not thinking straight.
No, he is not.
It's kind of shown that in this arc he is leaning towards more Chibiusa than Yusaki. So hearing that Chibiusa basically ran off, he in the direction that Chibiusa was running at, without a key, it shows that he wants to make sure that Chibiusa is alright.
And I thought that was so dumb. Because I know that she's his future daughter and he loves her and he wants to go take care of her. It would have taken 15 seconds for him to turn around, go back to Pluto and say, you're right, I need a key so I don't get lost forever, because if I'm lost forever, I can't save anyone. Let me have a key and then I'll go after her. Really? You couldn't be bothered to do that? You're just going to cause this whole mess because you don't want to turn around for half a minute and get a key? That bugged me. He did the same thing in the manga, but it still bugged me.
Yeah. Somehow his classic side has decided to pop his head.
Yeah, that kind of dumb, useless 90s anime tuxedo mask. made an appearance.
But did you actually notice that he was still holding the Princess Scepter?
Yeah, I did notice that.
It's like, though he and this time cares more about Chibiusa, he still wants to find Usagi.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, who is he really trying to find? One or the other?
Yeah, he's going after Chibiusa, but he's so intent on Chibiusa that he isn't thinking of anything else, even things that would help him find her if he stopped to actually think about it. It's frustrating. Mamoru is frustrating me. Meanwhile, on Nemesis, Usagi is having some issues with the power of the malefic black crystal and collapses. And Prince Diamante takes her out to the garden, and he's about to, be a creepy stalker and touch her face while she's asleep. But, like a bolt of lightning stops him. And hellenjane wrote down in her episode notes, manga question, was he this creepy in the manga? And the answer is yes. Yes, he was. He's just creepy and gross and bad and always. But in the manga, he's kind of more neutral about it, I guess. But what I really noticed is that in the crystal version of that scene, he seems to be acting a bit more human and not just like, a walking villain plot. Because, when the way he acts when Usagi rebuffs him and says, no, don't touch me, he looks kind of offended and pouty that he isn't getting what he wants. And that, just for that one little second, it humanized him a bit. It didn't make me like him anymore because he was still being a jerk human, but he was more of a actual person and not just the bad guy.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, no matter where she goes, Creeping Prince followed her, no matter where she goes.
Yeah, she can't really get away from him on that.
Yeah. If you listened to last month's podcast, you'll probably understand why I say Creeping Prince than Prince Diamante.
Well, if you've seen the episodes, it's pretty clear who Creepy Prince is. He's
pretty much
the prince who's a giant creep. You also hear Saphir and Rubius talking about the Chamber of Darkness, where the other Senshi are being kept prisoner, and you see a glimpse of it. And something that occurred to me is that you see all these bodies around them, like, the zombie mummies. And, but I have to wonder if, Wise Man, or as he was known at that point, Death Phantom, was sent to Nemesis because it was this unexplored planet that nobody knew anything about, then where did these bodies come from? If he was the first one there, like, are they people that he had captured? Or that the Black Moon Clan had captured over time? Or were they maybe even there before he got there? And it makes you wonder what was going on Nemesis before Death Phantom entered the picture. Just a little something to ponder, because I thought it was kind of weird.
I actually never thought of that, to be quite honest.
I'm guessing probably it's like, people that they captured from when they invaded the Moon Kingdom, and it might even be people from Earth that they kidnapped to replace with droids, but it's just there's never a clear answer given, and it's something to think about.
Well, I'm actually also curious, like, in the chamber, and I think was the exact same chamber, or I can't remember which chamber it was, but it had the black crystal in it. That Usagi ended up being ambushed by 2 droids.
Oh yeah, that's the reactor chamber. That's a different place.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah. And just as a little note, they're not mentioned in the episode, but in the manga, those droids are named. They are Venetti and Aquatici. Venetti and Aquatici. which, according to my research, don't really mean anything. So, or at least nothing that would be particularly relevant.
Oof.
Also, another interesting little manga note from that scene, when Saphir is giving his little speech about how Diamande is going crazy and how nobody really understands what's happening to the planet Nemesis, in the manga, he refers to both Diamande and Rubius as his brothers. So, at least in that translation of the manga, it seems to be implying that Rubius is related to them as well.
Is this the English translation?
Yes. It is the English Kodansha translation.
Okay. Just want to make sure because it could say something else in a different translation.
Yeah, I don't, because when I read the original mixed translation, I don't remember it saying anything about Rubius being their brother as well, and I don't know what the original Japanese says. And really, that one sentence is the only time he ever really seems to act like Rubius is his brother, because he's always calling Diamande big brother, older brother, and he only ever calls Rubius by his name. So maybe that was just an error in that one panel, but it was just something I thought worth noting.
Have you ever thought about why in that episode there was like a heartbeat glance showing the Queen?
Yeah,
No.
Right, in the very beginning, it was right before the theme song started, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Then it like happened about I think 2 more times during the episode. But it did have a purpose. It did have a purpose. Because the two droids that ambushed Yuzaki and kept her in place, Saphir was going to kill her. Because he said all that stuff, and I think he was telling the truth, and just only a safety precaution is like one of those, if I tell you, I have to kill you kind of moments. I think that was it. He was telling the truth, trying to make sure that Usagi, like, oh, poor you, what should I do to help? It was like, I told you this, it's time to kill you. But just, I think a few seconds before he made that blow, her crystal glowed, and basically it showed that heartbeat in the scene one more time. I was like, really?
Yep. It was, the crystal finally got enough power, and Usagi could transform into Sailor Moon. So, and in the anime, it's mostly said that, as it's implied by the heartbeat, that it was the queen giving her power. And also in the manga, it's further explained because Saphir says that the reactor room, which is where they are, is the only place in the castle that has any sort of connection to the outside world. The rest of it is entirely sealed off. So since Usagi had a connection to the outside and her power wasn't being so weighed down by the malefic black crystal's power, she could transform again.
I actually just thought of something.
Yeah?
What if that chamber was the way for them to leave Nemesis and ended up being on Earth as a gateway?
He did kind of say something about that, because when he said this is the only opening in the castle, he said this is how you got here and this is how Rubius brought all of the other Senshi here as well. So that one portal in the reactor room is the one passage in and out of the castle on Nemesis.
So without that chamber, there will be no way out. Interesting.
It would have been a good strategy to use if it didn't become a moot point later on.
Pretty much.
Usagi transforms and is able to release the other senshi, and as she is speaking to Wise Man and to Diamande, she's possessed by the spirit of the queen, who tells them that the silver crystal is peace and guidance and offers hope to those who need it. And I just wanted to say that first off, I thought the animation for that scene was beautiful, how they, made Usagi have this glowing aura to her. And I thought the voice actress did an amazing job of really making her sound regal and in command and adult. I thought she sounded, it was still Usagi's voice, obviously, but she sounded not like Usagi, the teenage girl. She sounded like a queen, and I thought it was amazing.
I actually was thinking about something.
Yeah?
Because this is when the episode that Black Lady had her first speaking role.
That's true.
The previous episode showed Black Lady first.
Mm-hmm.
But in this episode, she was more as a blur.
Yeah, you didn't really see her, but you heard her, and you got a pretty good idea of who it was.
Yeah, that was actually kind of like odd. Because usually if it's like that, to try and conceal Black Lady, because we all know that she's going to appear sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why the previous episode?
Well, because I think that was supposed to be foreshadowing, because it was Usagi's dream about what was going to happen about Black Lady targeting Tuxedo Common. And it tied into Usagi's fears that she talked about of Chibiusa kind of replacing her in Mamoru's life, and him picking Chibiusa over her.
Technically a nail in the coffin?
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear.
The episode ends with Usagi freeing herself and Senshis from Nemesis and reappearing in time-space with Pluto. And she realizes that Chibiusa and Tuxedo Common are gone, and she, in the anime, she says, we gotta find them, and Rei says, well, we don't know if they're gonna be together, he might not have found her. And Sailor Moon says, I know he's with her because that's the kind of person he is. He's going to take that responsibility seriously, and that's what he's going to be doing. But I almost kind of preferred how they did it in the manga, which was that Usagi was the one who said, well, what if he didn't find her? And what if they're separated and we can't find one or either of them? And it was Rei who said, that's not going to happen. He found her because he's responsible, and that's the kind of guy he is. And then Makoto says something that I think is a shame that they left out of the anime, which is, she says, the reason why Mamoru has been chasing after Chibiusa and trying to take care of her is because he is trying to do that for you so you can save the world and have one less thing to worry about. And because he trusts us to protect you. And so while he's protecting Chibiusa, he knows that you'll be safe, because not only are you so powerful that you can guard yourself, but we, your guardians, are here with you. And I thought that was a moment in their friendship where, everyone understood Usagi and knew what to say to her and were trying to help her, that I think is a shame that didn't make it into the anime.
It really was a shame. Because that would have actually tied the cliffhanger really, really nicely. Because if you notice that each episode there's always a cliffhanger, no matter if it's a mellow cliffhanger or whatever, there is a cliffhanger. And I'm pretty sure that most of you noticed that by now.
Yep.
So, episode 23?
Mm-hmm.
So, this is when we finally get to see Black Lady in action and makes her first solo stand against Sera Myu.
We get our first look at, not shadow vague form Chibiu or Black Lady, but actual solid Black Lady, when she is down in this warped space-time area that Wise Man created since the castle on Nemesis got blown up, and they need a safe place to stay because the surface of Nemesis is so dangerous at this point. And in the anime, she takes them to this just kind of floating rock in the middle of nowhere. But in the manga, he has an actual castle, and it looks like this kind of big diamond gem thing with pillars, and I thought it looked cooler in the manga, but whatever they want to do, I guess.
One thing that was really weird is how on earth was the Black Lady teleported Tuxedo coming? Because in the previous episode, she found him and dragged him away from where he was going.
Yeah, that was actually the end of the last episode. What we said with the Senshi talking to Sailor Moon happened at the beginning of this one. I misread my notes. Oops.
But I'm trying to figure out how on earth was she able to teleport Tuxedo come in from where he was to Wise Man's castle.
Well, she says that the super powerful malefic crystal earrings that Wise Men gave them allow them to teleport freely, and I'm guessing that since he gave her this power now, she can use that to kind of home in on the location of Wise Man's castle, so she won't get lost when she was out baiting Tuxedo Common to come after her. What's really gross, though, is that, there she is with her dad. That's definitely her dad. That's her dad. And she, gets all kissy on him. And it's like, no, ew, no, that's bad. Stop it.
Gross!
It's so gross. That's why Black Lady... if it was just Chibiusa growing older and more powerful because she's always been jealous of her mom's power and always been like, well, Mom, I never thought I could be as powerful and, divine as you, but now here I am, haha, that's one thing, but to make it also, I'm in love with Dad and I've stolen him from you, that's creepy and gross, and that's why I've never really been okay with Black Lady.
Gee.
It's so gross.
Totally. And we don't encourage that kind of thing, so... But even still, throughout she wanted Mamoru.
Yeah.
Even if it was her dad, she still wanted Mamoru.
And I guess part of it is because it's one thing for a little girl to not really understand romantic feelings versus feelings of familial love, and so you think, I'm gonna marry my dad when I grow up. But when you grow up immediately and you still have that 6-year-old mindset and adult body, and you're like, okay, yeah, now I'm into my dad. Again, that's creepy, and it's not okay. And actually, in my manga, I don't know if it's just mine or what, but there is some kind of printing error, and just that corner of the page where that panel is in, where she kisses him, is kind of blurry and splotchy, and I like to think that it was my manga trying to protect me from having to see that. The Senshi take Usagi back to Earth for a while so she can get some rest and, take at least a little bit of time to recollect her thoughts and figure out what the next step of the plan is. In another manga-only scene that I think is poignant and is very short, But Usagi's mom, Ikoku, looks into her room when she's standing with her friends, and her brother comes up and says, "What are you looking at?" And Usagi's mom says, "I was just thinking that Usagi looks really pretty." And the way that the panel is framed, she's drawn kind of ethereal, like she is when she's Neo Queen Serenity. And I always think it's interesting when it shows her Earth family noticing the changes that she's made as she does more things as Sailor Moon and discovers more about her past and future selves.
I just wish that was more interplayed in both animes.
Yeah.
Because that would have actually been, oh, they do notice and they still care about Usagi.
Exactly. I understand that, they couldn't focus too much on her family because they aren't actually very relevant to the plot. But at the same time, it would have been nice. And you'll see little glimpses, but it's always nice to get a reminder that her Earth family still exists, that they notice these things about her.
Back to Black Lady. They have actually acknowledged the creator's wish of no slits in her dress.
I think the slits are there. They adjusted the design of Black Lady's dress a little bit so that the slits aren't entirely open. They're kind of filled in with a blue fabric because Naoko Takeuchi has said that when she originally designed that dress, she was really worried that she drew those slits too high and that it wasn't appropriate. And then when they made the original anime, they made the slits in the dress even higher, and she had a small heart attack. So I guess someone finally went back and said, "Let's let Takeuchi-san, calm down for this one. We'll make the dress a bit more conservative as far as those slits are concerned."
Yeah, much more modest too, unlike a certain sister. Why did you guys decide to change Black Lady's dress, but not putting some kind of skirt or something on that?
Birdie.
Why?
Why does Birdie wander around in a swimsuit? Oh, Black Moon Clan, you're a zany bunch. The episode ends with what I think is a pretty great scene of Black Lady being kicked out of the Crystal Palace because she attacked Sailor Moon. And she's saying, "Oh, so you've kicked me out. I'm not welcome in the Crystal Palace or the Moon family anymore. Well, you never treated me like I was welcome anyway, so fine. I don't even care anymore." And I thought, that's really the kind of Black Lady that I could get behind. The one who's more focused on, how out of place and resentful she felt than the part that wanted a romantic relationship with her dad. And even the way when she comes into the palace and is talking to Queen Serenity, and she's just saying, "Mom, it's me, I'm here." I thought, that seeing not only Chibiusa, where Chibiusa still loved her mom, and these feelings of resentment and inadequacy she didn't really express because she was afraid of, that she shouldn't be feeling them. But as Black Lady, she doesn't really care about that. So just to see her more, express what she's feeling, I thought that was important for her character. And once again, overall, I'm just liking Chibiusa a lot more, even as Black Lady, a lot more in this version than in the first anime.
I actually have to agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, in the manga, they didn't have that kind of personality. Well, that character development until close to the end of the manga, which I'm going to keep my mouth shut about until the final episode of this arc is. And they don't really show that kind of character development at all in the classic anime. Probably a few glimpses, but nah, not even one. But in Crystal, it's like they're finally molding Chibiusa into what she was supposed to be.
It's a lot like that. The manga was kind of on the right track, but I still feel like she was a bit underdeveloped, so I still wasn't ever really fond of her. And then the original anime just went way off course and made her just unbearable, especially the English dub. But Crystal is kind of not only going back to where the manga was, but taking it further in the right direction and making her even more understandable and relatable, and so you can really see where her character development is coming from. And so even though Crystal is a lot shorter than the original anime in terms of its pacing, and we're almost done with the second arc, and we're not even to episode 25, whereas the first arc took like 50 episodes to get through. I feel like I already know more about Chibiusa than I did, throughout the whole thing in the first anime.
And it makes me appreciate the franchise more as a whole. That no matter how many times they want to redo the story or whatever, each time they add a new kind of element and makes it much more better than the first or the one before.
It's like with each incarnation they learn and they grow and it gets better and better. One final little note, not even really related to the Sailor Moon Crystal anime, but in terms of the manga, in the old original mixed translations of the manga, something that's common in a lot of manga is about once per chapter there'll be a little sidebar of author's notes where they just talk about, some recent goings on in their life or some notes about the story or whatever. And the mixed translations kept those little notes in, and I always loved those. And there were little notes at the end of the books where sometimes it would show concept art, or she would talk about event sheet. Naoko Takeuchi would talk about event sheet gone too. And I loved reading those, and I'm disappointed that Kodansha got rid of them. I mean, I understand that especially talking about events and TV airings and stuff is really dated by now, but I always felt that they added to the experience of reading it. So the fact that they're gone now makes me sad.
I can't get the song out of my head.
Would it happen to be our break song that we're going to listen to now?
Yes. The only way to get it out is to let it play.
Well, then we better cue up Call My Name and let our viewers listen to it while you get this earworm out of your head.
Pretty much. Okay. We'll be right back.
We'll see you in a bit, guys.
There are days when those gray skies make you blue. Each forward step you take, you fall back by two. You've been hit by some hard knocks you just can't stand. Feeling like Alice felt
Hi guys, welcome back. We hope you enjoyed Call My Name, one of the English songs from the anime. Our topic for this month is Japanese mythology and mythology from other cultures as well, and how it is related to Sailor Moon, what inspiration it gave, things that it's named after perhaps. It actually, Naoko Takeuchi drew from a lot of different mythologies from a lot of different cultures around the world.
Yeah.
The first one that we're going to talk about, though, is from Japan. And it's one that you've probably all heard of, if not that you don't actually know the story itself. It's commonly known as Princess Kaguya, and it's also known as the Tale of the Bamboo Cutter. It's an old Japanese folk story, myth, whatever you want to call it. Like, basically, it's equivalent to Cinderella or Snow White or any of those over here. It's one of those old stories that everyone knows. And a quick overview of the story is that there's an old man who works as a bamboo cutter, and one day he cuts down a bamboo stalk and finds a teeny tiny little baby in it. And he thinks that the baby is so beautiful that he takes her home to raise with his wife. And she eventually grows up into a normal-sized woman. And she's very beautiful, and she has many suitors, but she rejects them all. And eventually, even the Emperor of Japan hears about her beauty and comes to see her and falls in love with her and asks her to marry him. But she tells him that she can't join the royal family or live in the palace because she isn't actually from Japan. But they stay in contact and become friends. As she gets older, she begins to cry every time she sees the full moon, and she gets more and more upset, and eventually she reveals that she is actually from the moon, and that she has to return there. On the day that she is set to return, the Emperor sends a whole host of guards to her house to keep the moon people from taking her, but the people from the moon take her back anyway, and she returns to her home on the moon to never see her Earth family or friends again. And she leaves her Earth parents her robe to remember her by, and she writes a letter to the Emperor that contains a drop of the elixir of life. When his guards bring back the letter and the gift, the Emperor sees it, and he doesn't want to live forever if it means he can't live without Princess Kaguya. So he sends his troops up to the tallest mountain in Japan to burn her message in the hopes that she would see it and know that he's trying to contact her again. He says to take it to the point that's closest to the heavens. And that happened to be Mount Fuji. And it said that Mount Fuji got its name because Fuji is a Japanese word for immortality, and like the elixir that the emperor had burned there. The kanji that is used for Mount Fuji, when literally translated, means a mountain abounding with warriors, which is said to have come from the emperor's many troops climbing the mountain to burn the letter. And since Mount Fuji is a volcano, and in past times it was much more active and it would smoke regularly, that smoke was said to be the burning letter. In terms of Sailor Moon, the general story can obviously be tied with Princess Kaguya, especially considering that in some versions of the Kaguya legend, the reason she was sent to Earth was to protect her from a war going on in the heavens. So basically in both stories you have a person from the moon who is in danger because of enemy attack, who gets sent to Earth to be raised by Earth parents, and then they discover who they really are. And also they fall in love with a major leader on Earth. But that general tie-in is not the only instance of the Princess Kaguya legend appearing in Sailor Moon, because in the Sailor S movie, which in English is called Hearts on Ice, and it was actually based on a manga side story, an astronomer discovers a comet heading for Earth, and he names it Princess Snow Kaguya because this astronomer had this fixation with Princess Kaguya from the story. However, the comet turns out to be an invader who wants to freeze the entire Earth, and it turns out to be not so great. However, that particular bad guy of Princess Snow Kaguya can also be connected to a Japanese mythological creature known as the Yuki Onna, which is a snow spirit that's said to be a beautiful woman that draws people out into the snow to freeze them to death. Since, like I said, the Princess Kaguya legend is so well known in Japan, you see a lot of references to it in media and stories, and some other things that have mentioned it are Inuyasha. Princess Kaguya appears, I believe, as an enemy at one point. Naruto has some ties to it. Doraemon and the game Okami all have references to Princess Kaguya. And that is it for that Japanese story. I believe hellenjane has some information on another popular Japanese myth that is closely tied to Sailor Moon.
Yep. I have a question to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
When you see the full moon at night, when it's the height of the lunar cycle, do you actually see a bunny and who's pounding on a log or pistol?
I don't actually normally see anything in the moon except craters.
Well, there is a shape of a rabbit and look like either a log or a pistol.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you guys haven't clicked on it, I am talking about the rabbit on the moon. You can actually see it on certain nights, especially if you are in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if you're in Korea or China or Japan. That's probably the most commonly found shape in the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've actually seen some pictures people have taken where they use a photo editor to highlight the shape that's supposed to be the rabbit. And at that point, you can see it.
Mm-hmm. And there are different annotations of the rabbit. Like there is a Chinese one. There's one called the Moon Rabbit of Turtle Island. There is a tale in Korean Vietnam. Of course, there's something related to the Apollo moon landing. The Apollo 11 moon landing with the Moon Rabbit. And of course, it's been on the media and so on and so forth. But the one that I want to bring up is called Tsuki no Usagi. And this is one of two versions of the story, because some people associate the moon rabbit who is making rice cakes.
Mm-hmm.
But there is I don't know if I class it as a myth legend, but for this I'm going to class it as a legend. This is what basically this story is in a nutshell. So, the man in the moon, of course, we all know or heard about the man in the moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this particular story, he disguised himself as a beggar and came down to Earth. He has 3 animals, a Kitsune, a Saru, and a usagi for food. Don't worry, we are not talking about our favorite klutzy usagi. The translation is a fox, a monkey, and a rabbit. Because in Japanese, usagi means rabbit. So all three decided to do something about it. Of course, the kitsune ran to fetch some fruit and returns to give it to the man. Saru caught a fish from a nearby river. Usagi, however, felt pretty bad for not having anything to give him than grass. So instead, Usagi offered to build a fire. Like, after when he built the fire, Usagi lays down his life. Orna Legion threw himself in the fire and offered himself as a meal. The man in the moon quickly changed back to himself and rescued the poor creature. He acknowledged Usagi's kindness and told him he doesn't have to hurt himself. He also told Usagi, since he was the most kind out of the whole three. Don't get me wrong, the other two was kind and did get something for the beggar. Usagi got to live with the moon with him, so after that particular night, the man in the moon took Usagi with him and he's been there ever since. Which I think is a really cool story. Kind of like a really good story. Of kindness, sacrifice, and if you do something courageous, well, you may get a reward, you may not. It all depends how it's looked at. So, this story is said to be originated from a Buddhist, and I'm reading it from the website as well. We will put all the research links down in the description so you can have a look at it yourself. As well as for the original Moon Princess story, I already put it down in an earlier video that I did, which I'm going to put down a link below so you can read the full one yourself. Anyway, where Sakura is, we will also put an annotation when we find out who Sakura is. But Sakura is the old man of the moon, and the monkey, otter, and the jackal are the rabbit's companions. And here's something really, really cool that I found out. In mid-autumn, so technically, if it's this year, could be between... we went through this last week with the schools and I've already forgotten about it. Oops. But in the mid-autumn, they have this festival, which is really, really cool. What I understand from the blurb is that people gather. It doesn't matter if you're in Korea. Exact same thing in Korea and China, by the way. Make sure I say the right words. People gather around to watch the full moon, and the children sing a song about Usagi. And with that, I found a little random fact that shows how much this implies, not like implies, but shows in the live action, like the PGSM. And I did double check the making of so I could get the number correctly. There is 44 rabbits in Usagi's live action room, including Usagi herself. Right, the actress counted all the rabbits.
Wow.
It could be earrings, it could have been the name Usagi, could be anything, but ended up as 44. If you exclude Usagi, 43. That shows that there is that in the franchise they have a little pun to Usagi's name.
I believe the pun was also a question in one of the Moon Trivia attacks. I asked you what the pun is for Usagi's name.
Oh, that's right. Was it? It was a couple of episodes ago, wasn't it? That's right. If you want to remember the question, go and have a look at our birthday episode.
Yep.
So, we're going to have a quick break. And what other song should we play this time?
Let's see. How about we play Moon Revenge, which is from the original anime.
Alright, so time for us to recollect ourselves because there's still a bit more to go.
We'll see you guys soon. we hope you enjoyed Moon Revenge. And we are going to get back into our topic of Japanese mythology. And other mythologies as well. Alright. I have a lot of interesting little facts about the inspirations taken from Greek and Roman mythology in Sailor Moon. For starters, since the planets are named after gods in the Roman pantheon, it's understandable that Naoko Takeuchi included a lot of nods to Roman mythology, such as the natives of the moon, in particular, having very mythologically appropriate names. Serenity, while also being a geographical feature on the moon, the Lake of Serenity, is very close to the name Selene, who is the Greek goddess of the moon. Her Roman equivalent, because Greek and Roman gods tended to be kind of merged together over the years by various historians. So the Roman equivalent of the Greek god Selene was named Luna. Artemis was the Greek goddess of the hunt, who was very closely associated with the moon, and her Roman counterpart was Diana. So that accounts for the queen, the royalty, and all of the cats. Right there, it's all in mythology how they got their names.
Well, with my extra bits, I decided to do 3, but for now, I didn't notice that we're switching between our extra bits of information about mythology. Of course, can you remember the 4 elements, Katie?
That would be earth, wind, water, fire?
Yep. And if you were watching Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, you probably got that down pat.
Yep.
However, in Asian mythology, there are 5 elements.
I think I know the last one.
What
Is
is
it
it
metal?
then? What is it then?
Is it metal?
That's one of the. That's one of them.
Mm-hmm. It's like fire, water, metal, wood, and air.
Close, but there isn't any air.
Oh,
It's
is it
earth.
like energy or spirit or something? Oh, earth.
It's earth. So to recap, fire, water, wood, metal, and earth. So to cut this down a bit, and of course, where I'm looking at will be in description below, so you can see the outer senses part of the 5 elements. For this particular part, I'm just gonna quickly go over the inner senshi.
Mm-hmm.
So both teams have are based on the 5 Asian elements. Well, can you remember like, even though there's a bit off topic, but can you remember the water stars in Winx Club?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mercury's kanji means water star.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah. Because each one is related to the kanji of the names of the planets. So, Mercury's is water star. Do you want to give a crack about what Mars kanji is?
Fire? Fire star?
Yep, fire star. Wood star for Jupiter, and metal star for Venus. Alright.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Mercury's power is obviously related to water, and Mars is related to fire.
Yep.
But Jupiter has, of course, has lightning and thunder attacks, but have you ever noticed or thought about Jupiter oak evolution?
Yeah, that's Jupiter has kind of two power elements that she uses. She has lightning, but she also has wood.
That's right. And some of her manga attacks also reflect the influence of wood and plants.
Mm-hmm.
For Venus, though, even though the majority of her powers are related to the Roman goddess Venus, who is, in charge of beauty and love,
Mm-hmm.
there has been some few attacks that she did that relates or even evolves metal.
Yeah, they have to.
So next time you hear Venus not Love and Beauty J, like her chain attack,
Mm-hmm.
can't remember off the top of my head, but
It's Love and Beauty Chain, you got it.
I thought it was the one they were thinking of was Love and Beauty Shock. But
I'm pretty sure there's a Love and Beauty Chain, too.
Something like that anyway. We will make it clear in the annotations as well. So next time you see that attack, try and connect that it could have a bit of element, the metal element.
Mm-hmm.
For Sailor Moon, of course, the kanji for her is basically an moon, which is not an element. That in the sense of the other members of the team. But have you noticed that her strongest power is the ability to purify people?
Mm-hmm.
Like to set them free from like anything. Well, she does represent purity, and her text varies using like heavenly bodies like moon, stars, to 11 kaleidoscopes. But her strongest power is the ability to purify people, which is in this day and age not many magical girl and magical guy. Yes, there is now officially magical boys anime.
Mm-hmm.
Actually don't have. Because I'm pretty sure that some earlier animes does have this power of purifying people, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't see it that much these days.
Yeah.
So it's back to you.
Alright. Well, in addition to the inhabitants of the moon being appropriately named, Mamoru's past self was also given a fitting name, because Endymion in Greek mythology was the human from Earth that the moon goddess Selene fell in love with.
Dun, dun.
Yep. Other appropriate names are Phobos and Deimos, who are raised pet crows. Now, we've talked about before that they share the names of Mars's two moons, but you also have to look at who the moons were named after, which are the twin brothers Phobos and Deimos from Greek mythology, who were the sons of Ares. And Ares' Roman equivalent is Mars. So basically, these two crows are named after the sons of the god that Mars' planet is named for. However, crows themselves were not associated with Ares but with Apollo, who is both the sun god and a god of prophecy. So even though they weren't associated with Mars, they were associated with prophecy, which would make them fitting companions for a shrine maiden with divination powers like Ray. And now it's back to hellenjane.
Have you ever thought of what zodiac signs actually means for the century?
I've noticed them, yeah.
Well, the zodiac signs that the century was given is also astrologically correct. So,
Well, that's
so Haruka is an Aquarius. Of course, her birthday is in January. And the guardian planet for Aquarians is Uranus.
Mm-hmm.
Mamoru was born in August. So next month it will be his birthday.
Yeah.
And the guardian's planet is the star, the sun. Which, of course, on Earth we cannot survive without the sun and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
Because we know that Yusaki is a Cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means her guardian planet could be the moon.
Mm-hmm.
There's a top of a whim. Or Ray, for example. Another example, her guardian planet probably is indeed Mars.
Yep.
So it's really cool how the zodiac actually plays into the characters' birthdays, in which they actually belongs to.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Just adding on that, it's common to assign certain traits to people who belong to certain signs of the zodiac, like Cancers tend to be motherly, which would sort of fit Usagi, and the senshi that I share my zodiac sign with is Jupiter. We're both Taurus, and the personality descriptions for that tend to be down to earth, stubborn, strong, like a bull. And I think that fits Jupiter pretty well. So not only do their astrological signs match their guardian planets, but they also, in at least some ways, match their personalities. This is something that we've touched on a little bit previously, but Sailor Pluto is said to be the daughter of Kronos. In Greek mythology, Kronos was the father of Zeus, but later on, scholars in the Renaissance also regarded him as a father time figure. So it would make sense that the senshi of time would be the daughter of Father Time, God. But Kronos' Roman equivalent is actually Saturn. And Pluto in Roman mythology was equivalent to Hades in Greek, which means that Pluto was kind of associated with death, and Saturn was more associated with time. So it would have made sense if Sailor Saturn and Sailor Pluto had switched names, because classically their gods are representative of the opposite of each other's powers. Like Saturn has powers of death and destruction, and Pluto has powers of time, whereas mythologically Saturn had power of time and Pluto had power of death. As hellenjane mentioned earlier, as a Leo, Mamoru's guardian planet is the sun. Helios, also known as Pegasus, is named after yet another figure in Greek mythology that was the personification of the sun. And if you remember Apollo from earlier, the god of the sun, those two are closely associated. Elysian is the realm that Helios comes from in the anime, the dream world. But it is actually named for the Elysian fields, which in the Greek underworld is where the souls of good people would go. However, what I mentioned earlier about Saturn and Pluto possibly switching, in some myths it's said that Kronos, or Saturn, eventually became king of the Elysian fields, which would give him some kind of tie to death, which might explain why Sailor Saturn was given the power of death. And we will send it back to hellenjane.
Do you ever wonder what your blood type actually matches?
I always wonder what my blood type is. I don't even know.
I need to talk to my GP when I next see her about what blood type I am. But blood type is really important in Japan. Not because of blood transfusions or blood type O as universal, so I can go to any blood type, etc., etc. But there is kind of like a belief on personality as well. Not just the zodiac signs. So, whatever blood type you have, it relates to what kind of personality group you might be in. So this is probably why a lot of anime manga characters have blood types in their statistics. 4 blood type groups: A, B, AB, and O, the universal blood. For some reason. The A blood group is nervous, introverted, honest, and loyal. B is outgoing, optimistic, and adventurous. AB, proud, diplomatic, and discriminating. And the O blood group is a workaholic, is insecure, and emotional. Let's do Sailor Saturn. So her blood type is AB. So that means that she's actually diplomatic, which is not surprising. And I don't know why discrimination actually suits her, but I don't think it does, because it can be looked in the wrong light.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Saturn is a proud person either. But we know that she's diplomatic. But if we look at Usagi really quickly, her blood type, as well as Chibiusa, is the blood type O. And workaholic doesn't fit both of them, but we know that they're insecure and Usagi can get really emotional. So this is why I said before about in a lot of anime manga, they had these blood types as part of their statistics.
Yeah, it was kind of almost a shorthand for saying, here's some basic qualities of this character.
So now you know why that in Japanese culture and in the anime manga they do put their blood type. So remember those kind of qualities next time you see trying to look up your favorite anime or manga character, Because it may as well might fit in your own blood group if you know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what I got.
Alright. In Roman mythology as well, the monsters of the day in the Super S season are called lemurs. And in Roman mythology, those were the spirits of evil people who had died, which is, fitting for bad guys. Also, the Amazoness quartet consists of Sera, Para Para, June, and Vesves, who in turn become the sailors Ceres, Pallas, Juno, and Vesta. They are actually also named after Roman goddesses, who might be better known by their Greek equivalents. Respectively, they are Demeter, who is the goddess of harvest, Athena, the goddess of war and wisdom, Hera, the queen of the gods, and Hestia, the goddess of hearth and home. And that is at least most of the Roman and Greek mythological ties in Sailor Moon. Now, we know that we didn't cover everything. There's probably mythology from other parts of the world and Greek or Roman or Japanese myths that we missed. So if you guys can think of any that we didn't mention, let us know in the comments so everyone else can see too.
Mm-hmm. And to give you a head start, there is something related to tarot cards as well. If you're into that kind of thing.
Yep.
So it's pretty... with what we've given you, it's probably a good broad side of how much influence that the mythology and basically the myths and legends of some cultures influence not only Sailor Moon but other kind of animes as well. I can think one straight off the bat, but I'm sure there's other ones out there that an anime can be inspired from.
Mm-hmm. If you know your mythology, especially in terms of Western stories, Greek and Roman, you can spy a lot of things that are definitely inspired by those original myths.
Mm.
And with that, we have actually reached the end of our episode for this month, guys.
That's right. Don't forget we do have an email address, so if you have any thoughts of the franchise or is on board with the hashtag Tuxedo Coming Puppet or anything at all that you might want us to research or mention, it's mooniethoughts@gmail.com.
And next month's episode is going to be released on August 3rd for those of us in North and South America. And on the other side of the world, it will be August 4th.
Mm-hmm. So let's go through our usual thanks. Like, thank you, Sailor Moon Wiki.
And Moon Kitty.
Wiki Moon.
And also thank you to Eternal Sailor Moon for information regarding the myths and legends.
True Face Seven's site that had like the rabbit on the moon.
And of course to you guys, our listeners. We wouldn't be doing this without you.
And don't forget about Phoenix Anime, which helped me out in the last minute with the blood types. So, I better get ready to head off to, prepare to head off to let's put it this way. We finally have our first collab that's coming up. And I have a lot of things to do for come month. Because, of course, it's July and it's Armageddon. So, I better get prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
And
our next episode is going to feature a topic that I think is going to be really cool for you guys to hear. It's not one that I hear discussed a lot, and so I'm really excited to present this to you guys and see what you have to think about it.
Mm.
And I think with that, we should go ahead and sign off for now.
And a bit of write down my shopping list. So, yeah. We see you in the month of August. The month of Mamoru.
Yes. Be sure to wish Mamoru a happy birthday this August. Mm-hmm. We will see you guys later.
Bye.